Hey RogueTech fans, Blaine here. Welcome to my final tutorial to help get you ready with your new career. So, you're a new commander of a green company. Your team hasn't yet conducted their first hot drop. Your mechs are stock builds and at best mediocre. Your team have limited training and shit is about to hit the fan. Yep, this is the life of a fresh company of mercenaries who are really not ready to take on the verse. Those first few missions and initial weeks or even months can rapidly make or break a new career. There are ways to make it easier on yourself. In my tutorials for install options and career choices, I hope I helped you find some picks that can make your early career more likely to succeed. Once in game for the first time, there are some useful tips that can give you a boost to break through the pain barrier of your first mission, first week and first month. If you start right, your career is likely to have at least a good chance of success. The choices I've made for my commander are Deep Periphery to give +2 gunnery, Loner for Assassin and Brave, and Soldier to get a big old cache of weapons, ammo and equipment. Lots of new commanders dive straight into their first mission on day one without having made any changes. While this can work, it's a high risk and often leaves you with some seriously damaged or even destroyed units and injured pilots. Preparing right, that'll ease the pain, so take some time, review what you've got, make improvements and drop right. Welcome to the Argo, your home for the rest of your career. The first thing to do when you appear in your newly salvaged junk pile of a dropship is find out what units you've been given. So we look over in the mech bay. Key thing here, if you're really not happy at this stage, just restart your career. You've got nothing to lose if you do. I've chosen the mercenary start, which has given me one of the widest possible selections of units that can be allocated. If you're happy with what you've got, then it's time to get your team ready. For this tutorial, I've been given a dervish. Its stock build is, to say the least, a little bit ropey. It's equipped with a mix of lasers, SRMs and LRMs and has no specialist gear. As it stands, this mech, well, for 55 tons, it'll bring little to your first missions. The second mech is a bit better. This time I've been given a Vulcan. They're a hard target to hit, which is a big plus early on. Weapons are pretty good, and it has some specialist gear as well, such as a mast to run faster and some jump jets. The third mech, however, is the best of the bunch. This is a Wolfhound. These are great with lasers and gain +1 accuracy. It also has decent specialist gear with the reflective coat, ECM and an AMS. Next is an OST Scout. These are pure recon units and not much use in a firefight. This is one mech I won't be using. Final mech I've been given is a Mongoose. This again comes with some pretty decent specialist equipment, such as an FCS energy accuracy and a probe. I was also, in the vehicle bay, given a Harasser hover tank. This is armed with SRMs. In stock form, only 2 of my mechs that I was given are reasonable. The other 3 will be lucky to do well in battle. The key thing to being ready is to assess what you have and see where moving gear between units can improve things. The cornerstone in my case will be the Wolfhound. While it has an FCS energy range already, if you instead move the FCS energy accuracy from the Mongoose over, this thing, when piloted by your commander, has a really good chance of dealing a lot of damage. We'll come back to the mechs later. Moving on to the barracks, you get to see which pilots you have join you. If you're lucky, assuming you enabled Ronin, you might have started with one or more of the Ronin pilots. If you're extremely lucky, you might have even been able to pick up one of the Manai Domino pilots straight off. In my case, I only have pretty basic pilots. There are 2 slightly more advanced pilots in the case of Buck and Harrier. Both of these have gunnery of 4, which is the main thing I'm looking for at this stage. We also have an additional one, Moosejaw, who has gunnery of 4, so that, I would imagine she'll provide my additional pilot when I'm ready to drop. You'll notice that Harrier, she can only pilot vehicles, so it looks like they'll be driving the Harasser. Also make sure you spend any experience you have with your commander. All I'll do myself is add an extra point of gunnery, and I think I'll give them focus fire to improve cooled shots some more. At this stage, having pilots that can hit is pretty much the most important factor to winning. Before doing anything else, it's worth moving the Argo forward by 1 day so you can see what you've been given in your commander stash. Most starts give you a unit, Merchant gives you lots more cash, and the one I've chosen gives you a big old haul of weapons, equipment and ammo. So let's have a look and see what we've been given. So this is the soldier content. This is the one that gives you the most items you can possibly get at a start. Ooh, we've got the LRM Thunder Augmented. Now, this is the sort of thing that you get given with this particular cache. These are brilliant. These are LRMs that drop mines on the battlefield, and these mines only affect the enemy. They do not explode if you walk over them yourself, so they are really useful. But you can sort of see the stuff we'll get. We're getting like armor piercing rack 5 ammo, some extra lasers, large pulse laser. I mean, there's a whole load of stuff here that we can then work with and improve the current mechs that we've been given. So this looks really promising. MRM30s, 2 of those. These are, I mean, you can see why I like this start. You get all kinds of useful stuff. I do recommend it if it's if you're struggling at the start. You've got another active probe which will be useful. Got AC2 ammo with incendiary. It's it just gives you a lot to work with. It means you can really tailor your mechs to do what you need them to do. Now we've seen what we've been given, it's worth taking a look in the local store to see if anything stands out that's worth spending your C-bills on. It's generally not worth buying complete mechs and vehicles from the store because they tend to be very expensive. However, immediately I can see this time, for example, we have an extended LRM. If you have any mine laying ammo, as I just picked up, these E-LRMs are brilliant to put on a support unit. They have a massive range increase compared to other LRMs, and the units you fight early on tend to have low armour, so can easily lose their legs to mines. Tip for firing mines? Only target the ground, not the unit. If your mine laying in ammo actually hits a target, it will damage the target, but it won't lay a minefield with that particular round. In general, there might not be much worth getting from the local store, but just occasionally find a gem like the LRM. Plus, I think this time I'll also buy a stack of double LRM ammo, so let's get hold of these.
New weapon systems available.
And the double LRM, there we go.
New equipment available.
It's also really important to go and have a look in the hiring hall to see if there's any particular pilots that are worth getting hold of. If you've got Ronin enabled, it also means you can recruit yourself a powerful pilot. Ah, there you go. With this career, I would immediately be able to hire the Man-I Domino pilot, Jamie. Yep, that's Jamie, our presenter row of the online map. As you can see, Jamie comes with a whole range of incredibly useful pilot quirks. Of the other pilots on offer, we have 3 Kickstarter pilots with Mustang, Popo and Vorrigan, and also a single other Ronin Witness. None of these are great, so personally, I think at this stage, all I would take is Jamie. So we'll hire him.
New mech warriors.
The next thing to do is to head into the mech bay. This is where you've got the chance to actually change your mechs, customize them, and get them ready for a battle. The first thing I look at is a missile platform. For this career, I would simply convert the Dervish into a long-range support platform. At 55 tons, it's slower than the other units, and as you can see, it comes with 4 missile hardpoints. So it's a natural choice for a missile platform. So let's start with the before and after picture. This is the Dervish before I go and edit it, and after. Here's the redesigned Dervish as our support unit. This mech has made use of the ELRM. It can now lay mines and has support ammo from the chaff and mine clearance that I picked up. It also has decent AoE with the swarm ammo, and I've removed the medium lasers, SRMs, and some of the jump jets. It's now a true support unit, and this thing I think should be quite helpful in our initial career. The second mech is the Vulcan. Before and after again. Before, it has the Ultra AC5. You might be surprised, but this is a weapon I would actually remove. While it does a nice amount of damage early career, your pilots are only going to hit with it by luck. So, Aftershock coming up. So now the Vulcan has been changed to a machine gun unit, while keeping the medium laser and flamer. Overheating a unit with a low level pilot will frequently cause them to eject, so it's worth hanging on to this flamer. I also like to have one unit geared with machine guns because they're great at causing crips to any units that have stripped away the armour from. In the soldiers pack, I picked up a couple of extra machine gun ammo as well. In particular, the high explosive. This increases the crit chance, so if I find a target with no armour, it's going down. Lastly, armour has also been increased with this unit because the Vulcan is going to be really in close with all the shortest range weaponry, so it's probably going to be their main target and take a lot of fire. Now the best of the bunch, the Wolfhound. This is the mech that I would plan to have as my main source of damage, given the accuracy that can be stacked. So again, before, as you can see here, and after. With the redesign, the Mongoose has now donated its sensor sniper and the FCS energy accuracy. The ER laser has now been replaced with the pulse laser that I picked up, and the 2 ER medium lasers have been removed. This mech has good overall heat sinking, which given the prototype laser AMS that's built in, and all the energy weapons, is vital to let it keep shooting. This is going to be the core of my unit. It's highly accurate compared to all of the others, and I hope it should take stuff down. The final mech is the Mongoose. The only change here is the FCS energy has now been changed from range to accuracy. So the key to this stage of preparing your company is simply to work out how best you can alter your starting mechs. With the limited options you start out with, anything you can do to make them stronger and fulfill a particular role in your lance will give you an edge. I've made sure that the 4 mechs I'll use fill the roles of support, primary damage, component crit with limited tanking, and a fast skirmisher. That combination, plus the harasser in my case, should enable me to complete most early missions without loss. Of course, the last thing to start to consider with your career is which missions to go for. Within my own command centre, I've got a number of variable missions. They're all green skulls, so 1 to 2 difficulty, half skull to 1 skull. There are some missions here that are much easier to complete than others. Take Flying Tigers, for example, up here. This type of mission actually is great for a new career. During the mission, you get given a powerful VTOL to use, plus it comes with an experienced pilot to fly it. Recovery missions, these purple ones, are another one of my early favourites. Pretty much all low difficulty recovery have just 4 units for the Op 4. At this stage I would avoid the light blue missions. These are base defense, because the target is invariably it's going to get taken down by the enemy. The buildings aren't particularly strong. You end up facing a lot of different opponents, so yeah, I would avoid those until later. Assassination missions are another one that's they're tempting. Generally the target invariably pilots an advanced mech or vehicle. However, for this reason they are also harder than the straight green battle missions. Same is true with duels. While I don't have any within my current list, I would generally avoid them until I have 1 or 2 really good one-on-one style mechs. These blackout missions can go either way. Sometimes you'll have events during the mission that can decimate your new units. Other times you can just walk them. So just be careful with these. Overall, I find it's best to focus on the easier battle and rescue missions for the first few months, and then maybe progress to some of the assassinations to start picking up those advanced units. Regarding the Argo and travelling, I always sit tight in system until I've upgraded the drive system. Within engineering, you can see it has 4 different upgrade stages, and until you've reached all 4 of these completed, I see little point in travelling. All you do is simply burn more time and C-bills than you need to. Every month the mission log will be refreshed, so there's usually plenty of missions on offer to complete. As for other Argo upgrades, I like to complete some of the repair and refits down here, because this way you can get your mechs much more rapidly turned around and ready for their next mission. Within the personnel and medical section, there are also some high priority upgrades that you should be considering. For example, the library. Some of these boost multiple Argo skills, in this case morale, tech and medical points. My last and hopefully useful tip for this tutorial is, once you're able to, I strongly recommend hunting down flashpoints during your first year or 2 of your career. A lot of these have great payouts, special equipment and units, and they also unlock more content for you to access. Anyway, I hope this has given you some useful tips and ideas to ensure your career is as battle ready as possible for your first hot drop. Any questions, ask in the comment section and I'll try and reply. If you've enjoyed this, please like, sub, etc. and look forward to seeing you all for Season 3.